new unit called Cactus and Canyons. So I'd like for you to turn to page 266 in your book. Yes. Are you familiar with context clues?
No.
Okay, well, we use context clues to try and help us figure out words that we might not know in the story. See right here? So by reading a sentence before the sentence that has the word that you don't understand in it, or reading the sentence afterwards, sometimes gives us the clues we need to understand the word we're trying to figure out, okay? What are some ideas that you could do to help you figure out what that word meant? Would you maybe read the sentence again?
Dictionary.
Get a dictionary, that's a good one. Maybe you could look for clues in the story that might tell you something about it. Or maybe you could reread the sentence and then read the sentence before it and after it and see if you can come up with clues that would tell you. So what we're going to do now, just to practice context clues, I have a worksheet here for you. This has a story on it that I want you to read called The Desert Tortoise. We'll read that together, and then I've got a couple of questions for you to answer, okay? So let's put our book aside, and we're thinking in terms of context clues. So underline any word that you come across that you're not sure what it means, okay?
When it rains, the tortoise.
Okay, before we listen to our story, let's turn and look at our vocabulary words on page 269. Okay, you see in the box there where it has our key words? These are going to be our vocabulary words. So these are key words that we want to understand and know the definitions of while we're reading the story, Lost. So the first word is found. Let's see if we can look on the picture and see where they might have used the word found. Can you look in here and see? Okay, it's, look, I found some roadrunner tracks. They go into the gully. So what do you think found means?
It's something like found.
Something like,
Found to.
maybe you saw them?
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
FIND or.
Ah, yes, so same thing as like find, but it means that he has already. Okay, Matthew, we're going to talk about this new story. And the name of it is Lost. Can you tell me what kind of story you think it's going to be about?
Something lost.
Something lost? Okay, what type of story would that be? Would it be a funny story?
Oh.
Maybe an adventure story?
No.
You don't think so? Well, let's see. Can you look on this page and tell me who the characters are?
For dog name is Flag, girl, and her dad.
Okay, and we talked yesterday about it taking place in Arizona, right? And in Arizona, what type of areas do they have a lot of? Did we talk about that?
Place.
Like where the cactus grow and not much water? Yeah, it's like a lot of desert area, right? With the story and follow along in the book, okay? And then you're going to be able to read some sections to me, and we'll talk about a timeline, okay? All right.
Story Lost. It begins on page 270. When you hear this sound, turn the page. Now, let's begin. Lost by Paul Brett Johnson.
Are you familiar with timelines, Matthew? Well, we're going to do a timeline for this story. So I've already gotten it kind of started for you. So let me show you this part here. the story's lost, of course, and we're going to talk about where Flag gets lost. That was the first starting point. Then the second thing that happened was the girl and her dog search for the dog. Flag, right? Okay, what is the next thing that you think happens in that story? We can look back at the story if we need to. They went to search for him. What was the first thing that they found when they went out to search? Do you think maybe up here with one of the vocabulary words?
Didn't find dog.
They didn't find the dog on the first day, did they? That they went out. But they did find some tracks, some dog tracks, right? But today I want you to go over a worksheet that goes along with our story Lost. But it's talking about the words was and were, which are past tense words, okay? We use was when we're talking about one person or one thing, okay? You use were when you're talking about more than one person. So what you're going to decide here is which one of those words would you use in these sentences. And if you need help, you can go to these pages and look at the text from the story, okay? So the first one's done for you. It's Flag, Dad, and I were in the desert, right? Number 2, which word would you use? Soon?
Flag lost in the desert.
Okay, which one of these words would you fill in there? You can turn to page 272 to help you. Let's see, does it have it in there? Flag. Remember what I said, was you use when you're talking about one thing, and were is when you're talking about more than one. So here is our subject, one or more. Be
Soon
flag, which is one. Flag is one, right? So you would use was. Soon, Flag was lost in the desert. Okay? Good. All right, now you try number 3.
A lady found a pickle that is
It, so that's how many? Or we'd use was or were, not flag.
what's different?
This one, was, is you use when you're talking about one thing. Like I was home. Were you use with more than one, like they were coming over. Okay? So here when you say a lady found a beagle, how many beagles did she find?
One.
Okay? But it, so which one of these would we use?
Was.
Was, very good. Okay, now this says I, so how many people are in I?
One.
Okay? So you would put
Was.
and what's the rest of the sentence say? I
Right.
was,
Really
good, okay?
later. Dad and I.
So how many people are we?
2.
Yes.
Looking.
Help you with whatever you need. Okay, Matthew, could you start by reading page 272?
The day Flag got lost in the desert, Dad and I searched for him until sundown. We found some dog track and at a watering hole and some other tracks, 2 big scary ones. But we didn't find Flag. Monday morning, I made a lost dog poster. It say reward 8 cents free
Dollars.
$8 free 8 cents.
Good.
That's how much I had in my piggy bank. I hope it would be
Enough.
enough. Dad took my poster to work and made copies. After school, we drove out into the desert again, passing them out along the way.